Hello friends, recently I bought another copy of The Naked Lunch by William S Burroughs because I decided having one wasn't enough. I've read this book before, it is fantastic, and I would love to read it to you. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for this. In fact, I don't know if I'll do any more after this. But, why not? This is the first chapter, entitled And Start West, from the book The Naked Lunch by William S Burroughs. And start west. I can feel the heat closing in, feel them out there making their moves, setting up their deviled doll stool pigeons, croning over my spoon and dropper I throw away at Washington Square Station. Vault a turnstile and 2 flights down the iron stairs, catch an uptown A train. Young, good-looking, crew-cut, Ivy League, advertising exec-type fruit holds the door back for me. I am evidently his idea of a character. You know the type. Comes on with bartenders and cab drivers, talking about right hooks and the Dodgers, calls the counterman and Nidex by his first name. A real asshole. And right on time, this narcotics stick in a white trench coat. Imagine tailing someone in a white trench coat, trying to pass as a fag, I guess. Hit the platform. I can hear the way he would say it holding my outfit in his left hand, right hand on his piece. I think you dropped something, fella. But the subway is moving. So long, Flatfoot, I yell, giving the fruit his B production. I look into the fruit's eyes, take in the white teeth, the Florida tan, and the $200 shark skin suit, the button-down Brooks Brothers shirt, and carrying the news as a prop. The only thing I read is little Abner. A square wants to come on hip. Talks about pod, and smoke it now and then, and keeps some around to offer the fast Hollywood types. Thanks, kid, I say. I can see you're one of our own. His face lights up like a pinball machine with stupid pink effect. Grassed on me he did, I said more solely. Note, grass is English theme slang for inform. I drew closer and laid my dirty, junky fingers on his sharkskin sleeve. And us brothers in the same dirty needle, I can tell you in confidence he is due for a hot shot. Note, this is a cap of poisoned junk sold to addict for liquidation purposes, often given to informers. Usually the hot shot is starning, since it tastes and looks like junk. Ever see a hot shot, kid? I saw the Gimp catch one in Philly. We rigged his room with a one-way whorehouse mirror and charged a Swarovski to watch it. He never got the needle out of his arm. They say if the shot is right... They don't if the shot is right, sorry. That's the way they find them. Dropper full of clotted blood hanging out of a blue arm. The look in his eyes when it hit, kid, it was tasty. Recollect when I am traveling with the Vigilante. Best shake man in the industry. Out and cheap. We is working the fags in Lincoln Park. So one night the Vigilante turns up for work in cowboy boots and a black vest and a hunk of tin on it and a lariat slung over his shoulder. So I say, "What's with you, you wig already?" He just looks at me and says, "Fill your hand, stranger," and hauls out a rusty 6-shooter, and I take off across Lincoln Park, bullets cutting all around me. And he hangs 3 fags before the fuzz nail him. I mean, the Vigilante earned his moniker. Ever notice how many expressions carry over from queers to conmen? Like raise, letting someone know you are in the same line. Get her! Get the paregoric kid giving that mark the build-up. Eager beaver wooing him too fast. The shoe store kid, he got that moniker shaking down fetishes in shoe stores, say. Give it to a mark with KY and he will come back moaning for more. And when the kid spots a mark, he begins to breathe heavy. His face swells and his lips turn purple like an Eskimo in heat. Then slow he comes on the mark, feeling for him, palpating him with fingers of rotten ectoplasm. The rube has a sincere little boy look, burns through him like blue neon, that once stepped right off a Saturday Evening Post cover with a string of bullheads and preserved himself in junk. His marks never beef, and the bunco people are really carrying a needle for the rube. One day a little boy blue starts to slip, and what crawls out would make an ambulance attendant puke. The Rube flips in the air and running through empty automats and subway stations screaming, "Come back, kid, come back!" and follows his boy right into the East River, down through condoms and orange peels, mosaic of floating newspapers, down into the silent black ooze with gangsters and concrete and pistols pounded flat to avoid the probing finger of purulent ballistic experts. And the fruit is thinking, what a character! Wait till I tell the boys and Clark about this one. He's a character collector. Would stand still for Joe Gold's Seagull Act. So I put it on him for a swasky and make him meat to sell him some pod, as he calls it, thinking, ow, catnip, jerk. Note, catnip smells like marijuana when it burns, frequently passed on the incautious or uninstructed. Well, I said, tapping my arm, duty calls. As one judge said to another, be just, and if you can't be just, be arbitrary. I cut into the automat, and there is Bill Gaines, huddled in someone else's overcoat, looking like a 1910 banker with paresis. And old Bart, shabby and inconspicuous, dunking pound cake with his dirty fingers, shiny over the dirt. I had some uptown customers Bill took care of, and Bart knew a few old relics from the hop times. Spectral janitors, gray as ashes, phantom porters sweeping out dusty halls with a slow old man's hand. Coughing and spitting in the junk-sick dawn, retired asthmatic fences in theatrical hotels. Pantapone Rose, the old madam from Old madam from Peoria. Stoical Chinese waiters never show sickness. Bart sought them out with his old junkie walk, patient and cautious and slow, dropped into their bloodless hands a few hours of warmth. I made the round with him once for kicks. You know how old people lose all shame about eating and it makes you puke to watch them? Old junkies are the same about junk. They gibber and squeal at the sight of it. The spit hangs off their chin and their stomach rumbles and all their guts grind in peristalsis while they cook up, dissolving the body's decent skin. You expect any moment a great blob of protoplasm will flop right out and surround the junk. Really disgust you to see it. Well, my boys, we'll be like that one day, I thought philosophically. Isn't life peculiar? So back downtown by the Sheridan Square station, in case the dick is lurking in a broom closet. Like I say, it couldn't last. I knew they were out there pow-pow-powing and making their evil fuzz magic, putting dolls on me in Leavenworth. No use stickle needles in that one, Mike. I hear they got Chapin with a doll. This old eunuch dick just sat in the pre-Senate basement hanging a doll of him day and night, year in, year out. And when Chaplin hanged in Connecticut, they found this old creep with his neck broken. He fell downstairs, they say. You know the old cop bullshit. Junk is surrounded by magic and taboos, curses and amulets. I could find my Mexico City connection by radar. Not this street, next, right? Now left. Now right again. And there he is, toothless old woman face and canceled eyes. I know this one pusher walks around humming a tune and everybody he passes takes it up. He is so gray and spectral and anonymous they don't see him and think it is their own mind humming the tune. So the customers come in on smiles, or I'm in the mood for love, or they say we're too young to go steady, or whatever the song is for the day. Sometimes you can see maybe 50 ratty-looking junkies squealing sick, running along behind a boy with a harmonica, and there is the man on a cane seat throwing bread to the swans, a fat drag queen walking his Afghan hound through the East 50s, an old wino pissing against an L post, a radical Jewish student giving out leaflets in Washington Square, a tree surgeon, an exterminator, an advertising fruit in Nidix, where he calls the counterman by his first name. The world network of junkies turned on a chord of ransonism, tying up in furnished rooms, shivering in the junk-sick morning. Old Peteman sucked the black smoke in the chink laundry backroom, and Melancholy Baby dies from an overdose of time or cold turkey withdrawal of breath. In Yemen, Paris, New Orleans, Mexico City, and Istanbul, shivering under the air hammers and the steam shovels, shrieked junkie curses at one another neither of us heard. And the man leaned out of a passing steamroller, and I copped in a bucket of tar. Note, Istanbul is being torn down and rebuilt, especially shabby junk quarters. Istanbul has more heroin junkies than NYC. The living and the dead, in sickness or on the road, nod. Hooked or kicked or hooked again, come in on the street beam, and the connection is eating chop suey on Dolores Street, Mexico. DF. DF dunking pound cake in the automat, chased up exchange place by a banging pack of people. Note, people is New Orleans slang for narcotic fuzz. The old Chinaman dips river water into a rusty tin can, washes down a yin pox hard and black as a cinder. Note, yin pox is the ash of smoked opium. Well, the fuzz has my spoon and dropper. I know they are coming in on my frequency, led by this blind pigeon known as Willie the Disc. Willie has a round disc mount lined with sensitive, erectile black hairs. He is blind from shooting in the eyeball, his nose and palate eaten away, sniffing H. His body a mass of scar tissue, hard and dry as wood. He can only eat the shit now with that mouth. Sometimes sway out on a long tube of ectoplasm, feeling for the silent frequency of junk. He follows my trail all over the city into rooms I move out already, and the fuzz walks in on some newlyweds from Sioux Falls. All right, Lee, come out from behind that strap-on. We know you, and pull the man's prick off straight away. Now Willie is getting hot, and you can hear him always out there in darkness. He only functions at night, whimpering, and feel the terrible urgency of that blind, seeking mouth. When they move in for the bust, Willie goes all out of control, and his mouth eats a hole right through the door. If the cops weren't there to restrain him with a stock probe, he would suck the juice right out of every junkie he ran down. I knew, and everybody else knew, they had the disc on me. And if my kid customers ever hit the stand, he'd force me to commit all kind of awful sex acts in return for junk. I could kiss the street goodbye. So we stock up on H, buy a second-hand Studebaker, and start west. I'll also read The Vigilante, considering it's only like a page for you, because I like you. The Vigilante. The Vigilante copped out as a schizo possession case. I was standing outside myself, trying to stop those hangings with ghost fingers. I am a ghost, wanting what every ghost wants, a body. After the long time moving through odorless alleys of space where no life is, only the colorless, no smell of death. Nobody can breathe and smell through pink convulsions of gristle laced with crystal snot, time shit and black blood filters of flesh. He stood there in elongated courtroom shadow, his face torn like a broken film by lust and hungers of larval organs stirring in the tentative ectoplasmic flesh of junkic. 10 days on ice at time of the first hearing. Flesh that fades at the first silent touch of junk. I saw it happen. 10 pounds lost in 10 minutes, standing with the syringe in one hand, holding his pants up with the other. His abdicated flesh burning in a cold yellow halo. There in the New York hotel room. Night table litter of candy boxes, cigarette butts cascading out of 3 ashtrays. Mosaic of sleepless nights and sudden food needs of the kicking addict nursing his baby flesh. The Vigilante is prosecuted in federal court under a lynch bill and winds up in a federal nut house specifically designed for the containment of ghosts. Precise prosaic impact of objects. Washstand. Door. Toilet. Bars. There they are. This is it. All lines cut. Nothing behind. Dead end. And the dead end. And the dead end in every face. The physical changes were slow at first, then jumped forward in black clumps, falling through his sac tissue, washing away the human lines. In his place of total darkness, mouth and eyes are one organ that leap forward to snap with transparent teeth. But no organ is constant as regards either function or position. Sex organs spurt anywhere. Rectums open, defecate and close. The entire organism changes colors inconsistently in split-second adjustments. Thank you for joining in. I might continue reading this book as I enjoy it. I just bought it today. I'm starting on page 19 on my own study. I'm midway. Very interesting fellow right there. So we got done with the Vigilante, which was on page 9 in my book. And the next time I'll be reading to you will be a story called The Rube. And also, a quick disclaimer, there are some rather racial slurs and stuff like that in this book. I will be saying them as Burroughs intended. But no, I personally do not hold any views against that or any kind of derogatory term. It's just the way the book was written. Fuck censorship. Anyway, have a great evening.